Hey, it's What's on the Menu, and I have something I want to talk about today. So today it looks like we're revisiting the whole incident with the woman getting hit by the brick. As of right now, people seem to be referring to this lady as the Brick Lady on TikTok. If you're confused as to what I'm talking about, there's a video that I made previously talking about the whole situation in its entirety, or at least part of what we had up until this point. The link to this video is down in the description. And as funny as this may seem, the whole incident in itself even seems a lot funnier. In my last video covering this topic, I seem to mention how, as unfortunate as the situation may be, I hope that all the full facts come out of this video, and I believe we're at the day where a lot more facts have come out and things definitely aren't what they seemed when we first heard about the incident. First of all, it turns out that this woman actually did not have any signs of injury whatsoever. So that giant lump you see on her face from the first video or picture that she posted of herself, that's not from being hit with an object, that's from something she injected in her own face. Let me say that again. She injected something into her face so that it would appear swollen, so that it would give the effect as if she was struck in the face by something or someone. Let that sink in as to how deranged that sounds. I don't know what would possess someone to actually put something in their face to the point where it would appear swollen or damaged, but I think that would explain the next part of what this whole story is going to lead into. So, as was mentioned before in the last story, this woman also set up a GoFundMe so that she could pay for the hospital bills sustained from the injury that she got after getting treated for her injuries. But now that we know the injuries are false, it turns out that obviously these hospital bills were nothing that people needed to pay for in the first place. With that being said, do you want to know how much money she made from the GoFundMe that she set up for herself and people donated to her? I'll give you a second. You got it? Well, here it is. She raised over $40,000 on her personal goal of $25K. Let me say that again. She raised over $40,000 and her goal was $25,000. She almost doubled her goal. So not only is this money not technically being used for medical bills, she was able to gain almost double of what she asked for from people who were actually feeling sympathetic towards the situation, which is awful. And the whole thing that makes it even worse is that there's evidence of her in the past doing a similar thing where she gets a GoFundMe set up to help her in her current situation, even if there's no proof of any hard times in her current point in life. Asking for money in times of need is one thing, but just trying to take money from people because they feel sorry for you and you're making up a fake story so they can feel sorry for you is on another level. Obviously, it's not something dishonest enough for her to not do again, because if she did it in the past and she was comfortable enough to do it now, it clearly wasn't that big of an issue to her in the first place, which is kind of sad to take advantage of people's generosity and kindness like that. The third piece of evidence that has come out is that there is no evidence of CCTV footage, which is closed circuit television if people don't know what CCTV means, of this woman in the gas station area where she claims she's gotten struck by the brick by the man that refused to leave after she said she didn't want to give her number to him. Not only was there no physical evidence of this instance, the people or bystanders that she claims to have not helped her in the situation have come forth and explained that there was no man in the situation, and she just comes out of the gas station with her phone exclaiming that some man had struck her in the face. Meanwhile, this whole situation was fabricated by her the whole time, and there was no evidence of an individual or a brick. So she made it seem on social media from her one perspective that everyone who was there did not help her, when in fact the whole scenario was made up in her head. Also, people have come forth to the local police departments in which the incident was said to happen and have asked about this woman filing the police report about the incidents, but they have come forth and said that nothing of the sort was reported to them and no one had said anything about an assault that happened to them in the past week since the incident occurred. So, with all this being said, it's very apparent that this woman unfortunately took advantage of the generosity of people in times of need and distress. This whole incident was a clear indicator of who this woman is, as one, she decided to injure herself for the sake of personal gain, two, lie to people in the sake of personal gain, and three, manipulate her audience as well as gaslight individuals in order to convey an image that they were not doing what they were supposed to do in a situation that didn't exist whatsoever. These three different factors have contributed to the fact that this woman manipulated the entire internet into believing that one thing had happened when it's not. It is a clear indicator that this woman is someone who definitely does not have the interests of other people in mind when getting to things that she desires. I just think this whole incident taught us a big lesson about social media and how things that are put up there are not as they always appear. Obviously, we only got a one-sided story from this woman's perspective. It was able to warp our perception of what actually happened, so much so that people were giving money to them because they felt badly for this woman, which understandably so. Someone's assaulted or injured, you want to help them get back on their feet because you feel bad for them. But this woman knew this would be the response that she would get because this is human nature and because she had done it before in a different incident a few years prior. So she was able to manipulate the people of the internet, gain their sympathy, take money from them, and on top of that, use what she thought, and on top of that, use her own twisted and manipulated way of, interacting with people to make them believe what she wanted them to, instead of painting a clear picture and making it very clear that she's someone who decided to lie in order to get what she wanted. Someone like that clearly does not think in terms of the greater good and only thinks on a personal level, but there may be bigger things at play that I may not be qualified to speak on, but that's neither here nor there. I gotta admit it, this is definitely a talent that could be exploited in other aspects of life that could definitely be used to benefit the greater good on a large scale, but what those talents may be used for and in what field, I couldn't tell you at the moment, but I'm sure they're useful somewhere. What are your whole thoughts on this situation? Leave a like or comment down below to see what you feel and maybe have some discourse with someone else. I'll talk with you later. Deuces.